Hi, my name is Laura Hightower. I'm the profiles writer here at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, and I had the great pleasure this week of interviewing Jannie Layne for the Sunday's profile. Jannie is the executive director and the founder of Beau's Blessings, a veteran support group that operates here out of Northwest Arkansas. In addition to helping individual veterans get back on their feet after rough times, she's also responsible for the Wreaths Across America effort here at our Fayetteville National Cemetery. That's a nationwide effort to lay a wreath at the foot of every stone in every national cemetery across the United States in celebration of Veterans Day and Memorial Day. She also recently took on the responsibility of coordinating the ceremonies at the National Cemetery for any veterans who do not have living family or friends to organize their funerals. So she'll be responsible for that going forward. That is sort of the nuts and bolts of Jannie's story, but it goes much deeper than that because what inspired her to take on these efforts was a great tragedy that happened to her. Her son, who is a veteran, Beau, the organization is named after him. He was killed in a motorcycle accident, and then within a year, her husband died of cancer. And so she suffered both of these losses in the span of 11 months. And instead of letting that destroy her, which I think it would have for a lot of people, she used it instead to motivate her. And came back with this amazing organization that strives to do good for people in the world and just turned everything negative that happened in her life into a positive. And her story is so incredibly inspirational. I really hope you'll read it this week. In the meantime, she answered some questions for us, some self-portrait questions to give us a little bit of a better idea of her personality. So I hope you'll watch. Thanks a lot. Let's start with, I am at my best when.
I'm at my best when I'm focusing on other people and their needs, because then I'm not looking at myself and not feeling a pain or hurt. I look at you and your pain and hurt, and that takes priority.
That's a little bit how you worked through the pain after Beau, was focusing on other people. One word to sum me up is?
Driven.
After looking at your calendar the other day, I would say that is really, really accurate.
I was thinking tenacious, but then I decided, no, driven is really, and I asked my husband about that. He said, yeah, you're driven. He said, you're crazy driven.
He said you hit the nail on the head there. If I've learned one thing in life, it is?
Oh, there's so much more good in the world than evil. And people focus on the negative instead of the positive. There's so much good, and the next generation is just as good as the last generation. We just have to continue to teach our lessons.
Have you ever struggled with that sense of optimism in the course of your life?
No.
It's always been a part of you?
My mama always said, you always look for the silver line. You always find it. That was,
That's a real gift, yeah. My greatest strength is?
My faith. Absolute, total, complete faith. I don't control anything. I just have to learn my lessons and the test that he gives me, and I have total faith in his control of my life and the things that have happened and the things that will happen.
It's carried you through. A good piece of advice I've received.
Years ago, one of my bosses, his name was Howard Baird. He was a World War II veteran, and he was the vice president of all things personnel, human relations, all that was involved at Tyson Foods. He was there were 99 of us in the corporate office back then, and he told me, whenever you have a project or you have an issue, always bring to the table resolutions and documentation. He said, don't bring complaints to the table, because a complaint doesn't mean anything other than you don't like something somebody else does. But always have facts, always document, and always bring a solution to that issue. And I have used that for years. I am a copious note taker.
I can't imagine a situation where that would not come in handy.
I can't either.
Yeah,
and as a nurse, it's really helpful.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
That is a stellar piece of advice. My best personality trait?
I think is my positivity. I really do. I wake up in the mornings thankful and grateful, and I go to bed at night thankful and grateful, and I always look, when somebody's negative or complaining or talking about how bad things are, I always try and show them the good things. And, you know, we're great. We're lucky to be alive in the country we live in with the freedoms we have. And so I think my positivity is the one thing.
I think that's the one thing that I am most jealous of with your personality. That positivity seems to have really carried you through a lot of rough times in your life.
It has.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
answering those questions.
Thank you.